Hi there, this is Sean, the Honest Book Reviewer, with another book review. In this video, we're discussing The Screaming Staircase, written by Jonathan Stroud. It's book 1 in the Lockwood Co Series. It's a young adult fantasy series with paranormal theme as well. I really like this book, and I really want to read more in this series. I found this quite gripping, very interesting. The world building is very good. It's set in modern world, but with a really big twist with ghosts, and the ghosts play a huge role in this story. And it's like a plague of ghosts in England. And I love that aspect, and I love the history that's interwoven in the story as well. Let's talk more about the book now. We're thrown into the action immediately in this story. Lucy and Anthony, two of our main characters, are on a case. They're trying to find the source of a haunting. So in this world setting, there's been a plague of ghosts for the last 50 years or so. No one's really sure how it came about, but there's ghosts everywhere it seems, and there are agencies whose purpose is to find the sources of the hauntings and rid them. There are different stages of ghosts as well, and it's ranged by power. So you have stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 ghosts, I think. I'm not sure if it's stage 4 from memory, but stage 1 are the weakest, and then as the stages go up, the ghosts get more powerful. And one of the agencies is Lockwood Co, which Anthony Lockwood is the owner of. And what's interesting in this story as well is that it's teenagers, children, who are there fighting ghosts. They're the ones who can sense them. Adults can't. So in a normal agency, you'd have teenagers and children going in and fighting the ghosts, the spirits, whatever it will be. Adults are like supervisors, team leaders, but they can't do anything to help. That's really interesting. It throws a really unusual bent on, a common theme of paranormal investigations and ghost sightings, those stories that seem to be abundant in modern culture. To have children and teenagers being the main fighting force against these evil sources is just a really unique and interesting twist. On this case, Anthony and Lucy do find the source of the haunting, and it's quite a powerful spirit. They find bones of a body in a wall, and a locket is around the body's neck. While ridding the house of the spirit, Lucy grabs the locket and takes it with her. Now, they're not meant to do that, but she does it for some reason, and she's not sure why. And they find out later on what she's done. She admits to it. And it's a crime, it's an offence to do that, to take evidence or take artefacts from a scene like that. So they could get in a lot of trouble. But what they find is this locket is tied to a cold case, possibly a murder. And they want to solve the murder because their agency is in trouble. During that case, they set a house fire, and the damage to the house is quite significant. They're owing about £60,000 or something like that, and their insurance won't pay for it. So they've got to get the money from somewhere, or they face bankruptcy. Their agency is very small. It's only 3 people. It's Anthony, Lucy, another person called George. And George is kind of the brains of the outfit. He's the researcher. He goes on the field sometimes, but not all the time. And what he does, he's not the best person in the field. He's more, the researcher, the studious one, that helps by finding out facts about the locations that they're asked to investigate, where there's, ghost hauntings going on. And while they're worrying about where this money's going to come from, they're approached by a very wealthy man. Now, he's got a case he wants someone to help with. There's a haunting in a house he owns, and he wants the Lockwood Co company to go and investigate and rid this house of the spirits. And he'll pay them a lot of money. He'll cover all the expenses from the house fire, and then he'll give them a huge bonus once they're finished. With no other options, they agree. But they've got suspicions about this guy, because just before he turned up, there was a break-in in their house, where their office is, where they live. They fought off the intruder, but they're worried that someone's after the locket because they're trying to solve this murder from 20 years ago, and they're wondering, is somebody trying to stop them? Is somebody trying to stop them solving who killed this young lady who was haunting the house in the first case they're investigating at the start of the book. This is a great mystery story as well as a great paranormal story. I love the way the author created the world. There's a lot of detail in this story. I think he's gone to a lot of effort to create a world that feels real. Even though there's heaps of ghosts and spirits and that flying around everywhere, it all feels real. It feels like it's really happening. That comes down to the careful planning and plotting in the story. It's written very well. The three main characters are really good characters as well. You believe all of them, all their motives, all their history. They all feel so real. So this series, I think, is shaping up to be a really good series. Lucy is kind of the main focus in the story. She's a very interesting character, very complex. She's got a lot going for her, a lot of light and shade as well. She makes mistakes, she has her own doubts as well, and some of those times those doubts, those flaws, cause trouble for herself and other people in the story. That makes her feel very real, very lifelike. She's also very strong-willed, very confident, not confident all the time. That's one of the flaws. When she's out in the field, sometimes her confidence just flags a little bit. That just makes her feel all the more real in the story and in this world as well. I do like Lucy as a character, and I'm hoping that she gets fleshed out even more in future books in the series. Anthony Lockwood is another one of our main characters and the owner of Lockwood Co. He's a good character. The author tries to make him seem broody at times and doesn't come across that well in the book. So in that way, it just falters a little bit for the character in this book. He's overconfident and cocky in the story as well, and that's his flaw. And that overconfidence and cockiness gets him and the other people in trouble as well at certain times in the story. So it's good to have that flaw. It makes Anthony feel more real as well as a character. But just that broodiness doesn't come off very well. And I'm just wondering if the author will try to shape that better in future books, or does that broodiness go away a bit as the series goes on? I don't know, and I'll find out as I read more in this series. George is the third person in the company, and he's a good character. He's got some good quips, good lines as well in this story. It feels a bit forced sometimes though, so sometimes it just loses that realness factor in the story. But this is a young adult story, so sometimes that forced characterization probably feels natural in a young adult book. So the characters stand out a bit more in your face. So if that's the case, then this works in that aspect. But for me, I just like a bit more nuance with the character. If you had a little bit more light and shade in George, would have made for a much better character. I did like this story. I liked almost everything about it. The mystery was very good, very tight. The world building was very good. It felt very real. They have a world with all these ghosts in it. The characters felt very real for the most part, and they were very good characters for the most part as well, and I want to see how they develop further on in the series. I liked the setting, I liked all the scenes, the action was very good. This story felt very well plotted. It felt well planned and well executed. I rate it a 4 out of 5. I'm looking forward to reading more in this series, and I've got book 2 as well from the library, and I'll read that soon and do a review on that soon as well. But I just like almost everything about this story. It just feels like the author planned this very, very carefully, and that careful planning just made this story even better. On my channel, I do review other fantasy books. If you're interested in those videos, check out my channel and subscribe. There's also a fantasy playlist on my channel. It should be on your screen now.